bell tolls. The midnight hour is upon us. It's time once again for two internet strangers to discuss the good and evil of the horror genre. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the terror within the Hallow-Holics Anonymous podcast.
Hello, Mr. Smithee?
Don't say it so loud, he might hear you.
Is that the point?
Corey, this guy has made some of, if not all, of the most horrible, awful, and vile films known to mankind.
No, that's Michael Bay. Listen, this is our chance to talk to a screen legend. Just think about what having a guest like Alan Smithee could do for our podcast. We already watch mostly crap anyway. Good evening.
Oh, crap!
Please, won't you come in and warm yourself by the fire? Ah, children of the night. What great Foley effects they make.
Corey, let's start the podcast before he makes us act in one of his movies.
Do you really think he'd let us?
Hi, I'm Maddy.
I'm Corey. And this is
Hallow-Holics Anonymous,
a show dedicated to all things horror and occasionally Halloween.
Well, today, Mr. Smithee, we're talking about you and some of the fantastic films you've made.
It's lovely to be here. I do have quite prolific catalogue.
That's a good way to put it, yeah.
You want to tell people about them? We already told people about them last week. That's what led to this horrible nightmare we've birthed.
His name was originally coined for a film two separate directors really didn't want anything to do with when the first director got fired, and then the second one who was hired on just hated the results when the production was finished, and that was for Death of a Gunfighter, which is funny because it got good reviews and even Ebert liked it, and he had high hopes for the director's future works.
I think there's like a whole process you have to go through. I didn't research this at all. I could just be remembering it wrong. But I think there's a whole like process you have to go to actually like you've got to like fill out an Alan Smithee application and stuff and like give your reason why.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the original reason for that is because there were rules preventing directors from using pseudonyms because that would create a loophole for producers to take over the rights and the creative catalogs of directors.
Oh.
They'd be stealing from their resumes.
Uh-huh.
And then Alan Smithee, that just came about generally because of legal issues with nobody wanting to take responsibility for bad movies.
And God, do we have two for you today, friends.
And we were trying to pick the best looking ones of the lot. But when you like focus microcosmically on one subgenre within a not quite genre of movies famous for being terrible, you get Bloodsucking Pharaohs in Pittsburgh.
And Raging Angels.
Which is kind of funny because it's like a combination of some movies we did for our biker summer. Because it's got Michael Pare, who was in
Streets of Fire.
Yeah. And it's got the name Angels, like Wild Angels. It's nothing like either of those films.
No, because those are good films.
Yeah. But we don't have a lot to say about these movies this week, guys, besides how much we disliked them.
Yeah, because that's the other problem with really crappy movies is like if it's actually like a crappy movie and not a good crappy movie, that shit just gets lost in time because nobody cares.
Yeah, it's
nobody like. I bet there's some like I'm sure that Bloodsucking Pharaohs in Pittsburgh, like there's some sort of obscure somebody did like a grad school thesis on that crap. You know what I mean? I'm sure that's out there somebody, but ain't nobody talking about Raging Angels ever.
No. Really?
It's that bad.
Yeah, I couldn't even find like 1996 or 91 little blurbs in newspaper reviews about either of these films.
That's the worst thing about it. Like, I love bad movies like Die You Zombie Bastards, Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter, Troma's entire catalog from the 80s, all the Full Moon movies from back then. I love that stuff. these Bloodsucking Pharaohs should be that, but it's not.
Well, that's because it's like, for reasons I'll get into later, it's like a porn movie without the porn bit.
Porn, yeah.
And Raging Angels, in some ways, is like that, but you don't even get any actual... It's like there's 2 sex scenes, but all you see are knees and backs, which I don't need to see a sex scene anyway, but it's weird because neither does it serve purpose to the plot, nor is it physically attractive. Well. Yeah, exactly. But that's neither here nor there. I'm not going to make the argument that at least if they had good sex scenes, they would have been worth watching, because they still wouldn't have been.
No, definitely not. Not even boobs could have saved these films.
Now, would you have probably canceled a certain subscription service if they'd sent you these movies?
Probably not, because that would have been only 2 out of 4, and one of those movies would have been an excuse for me to keep. And after that segue, I have a horror pack. Because of our weird recording schedules, I always have a horror pack now.
These days, yeah.
All right. Are these in some kind of order? I don't even remember. Ooh, yes, they are. I don't know. All right, so...
Wait. First, let's hear some ASMR plastic wrapping first.
But I don't open these. If I open these, I have to watch them instead of just putting them on a shelf. But there is one here I actually want to watch.
Okay.
But I never will. Or I'll watch it streaming and just never open the Blu-ray.
Corey has the biggest collection of movies he's never watched now.
I have a huge collection of unopened movies. It's embarrassing. Even stuff I bought that I wanted to watch, I haven't watched. Like, I think I have a copy of Breakfast Club in its wrapper.
Breakfast Club is a solid film. It really is.
Oh, I love it. All right. So first up, this is August's horror pack, by the by. There is no information about this movie except it is called Agoraphobia. It stars Cassandra Serbo and Tony Todd. It is Horror Pack's limited edition Blu-ray. It's signed by the director. I can't read his name. And she thought she was safe inside is all that it says on the back of the box.
Well, I gotta admit, if Tony Todd's coming for me, I'm pretty terrified. Do you need any more than that?
Yeah, so, I mean, based on the title of the movie, it's about some blonde lady who's afraid to leave her house, and Tony Todd probably, like, spends some time creeping around outside, and then finally decides to go inside to kill her, but probably doesn't, because it's a movie. That's my summary of that one. What'd you think?
I think it was succinct.
This one is starring Blake Lively in The Shallows. The Collider calls it breathtaking. IGN.com calls it terrifying. ArrowInTheHead.com calls it viscerally self-reliant entertaining.
I'm glad they didn't say better than an arrow in the head.
Somebody else called it courageous. Somebody called it fearless. Somebody said survive. And then Forbes says, quote, original.
Man, they were all just paid for those reviews, huh?
Yeah, and you know, it's probably not a good movie when you have to put certified fresh from RottenTomatoes.com on the cover of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, I imagine lying on that, it's probably not a good movie. What does it matter? I'm never going to take it out of the wrapper or watch it. So IndieWire called it masterful.
Why are there so many one-word reviews?
I don't know. Well, there's already a typo in the summary. It says, in the taut thriller, when Nancy, I think it's supposed to be in this taut thriller, when Nancy, played by Blake Lively, is surfing on a secluded beach.
Wait,
she
Nancy?
finds
Blake?
Nancy. Well, Blake Lively is the person playing Nancy.
Why is her name Blake?
Her real life name is Blake.
Like, her name is Blake?
Yes.
Huh.
That's what boomers name their kids.
Boys' names?
Blake can be a girl name.
That's not a girl's name.
I'm looking at a girl in a bikini named Blake right now.
Blake is one of the most manly names there are. Blake.
There's nothing manly about the name Blake.
Okay, try to say it in a feminine way.
Blake. Wait, like a girl saying it? Or?
No, like as if you're talking to a girl. Like it's a feminine name.
Blake, your nails look great today.
Yeah. So you're really just telling a man his nails look great. That's what it sounds like.
I
to me.
love that skirt on you. My lady voice is not good today.
No, it's not.
All right, so she finds herself on the feeding ground of a great white shark. Though she is stranded only 200 yards from the shore, survival proves to be the ultimate test of wills, requiring all of Nancy's I'm choking. Requiring all of Nancy's ingenuity, resourcefulness, and fortitude. So another stuck in the water with a shark movie. Like, we don't have enough of those.
Do we have enough?
We have a lot of those.
Yeah, but enough?
Enough for me, dude.
Okay. Well.
All right.
As long as the shark isn't growing tentacles or flying in a tornado.
Actually, I like those. I like the Sharknado movies. I haven't seen them all, though.
Oh, so are we going to have to do a reality versus fiction shark episode at some point?
I feel like we are grossly unqualified for that, but yes. All right, next up is one that, like, mildly interests me. It might be, well, on the front, it looks like a cowboy movie, but then on the back, they're wearing normal clothes, except for one person who still looks like a cowboy, and that's Christian Slater, I think.
Christian Slater.
Think? So this movie is starring Wes Bentley, Kate Maberly, Christian Slater, and Stephen Dorff. Rites of Passage. Sex, drugs, and an ancient ritual. Anthropology 101 is a killer. All right, so without even reading it, I now know what it's about. Bunch of students go on a field trip, get attacked by hillbilly Christian Slater. Nathan, played by Ryan Donahue, is an anthropology student. Let me do that again. That was terrible. Nathan, played by Ryan Donahue, an anthropology student, invites a few of his classmates and their professor, Stephen Dorff, to his family's abandoned ranch, once a sacred Chumash burial ground, I probably slaughtered that, to recreate an ancient ceremony. There they meet Nathan's psychotic older brother, Benny, played by Wes Bentley, and drug-fueled Delgado, Christian Slater. This is getting better and better as I read. The students then embark on a rite of passage that no one will ever forget.
Oh, my God.
I mean, it doesn't sound great, but based on, like, it looks dumb, but dumb enough to be awesome. When was this released? 2011 by Party Killer Films, LLC. I mean, this is a who's who of, like, dudes who were in good stuff that aren't in good stuff anymore, like Stephen Dorff, Christian Slater, Wes Bentley, like... Stephen Dorff looks good, man. He's got, like, some abs.
Kind of like Shelley Winters was in Raging Angels.
Oh, God, she was.
Yeah.
All right. Now, finally, the one movie that actually sort of interests me stars Rory Culkin, which is, I thought it was Macaulay Culkin, but I guess I was wrong.
Rory Calhoun?
What? No, Rory Culkin. Macaulay Culkin's brother.
He has a brother?
Yeah, his name's Rory. He's been in a bunch of stuff. You know, you've seen him.
I believe you. I believe you.
All right. So Rory Culkin, Emery Cohen, Jack Kilmer, Sky Ferreira, and Walter Skarsgård in Lords of Chaos.
That sounds
a
familiar.
Jonas Åkerlund film based on Truth and Lies, the uncensored director's cut. So I already know what this is about. It's got to be about those black metal murders back in the day. Variety called it tremendous fun. The story of true Norwegian black metal and its most notorious practitioners, a group of young men with a flair for publicity, church burning, and murder.
What is Variety doing watching this movie?
I don't know, but I knew it was good. I love Mayhem. They're so good. Well, they're not great, but I like them. Oslo. Choked again. Sorry.
That's so metal.
I know. Oslo, 1987. 17-year-old Euronymous is determined to escape his idyllic Scandinavian hometown and create true Norwegian black metal with his band, Mayhem. He's joined by equally fanatical youths, Dead and Varg, believing that they're on the cusp of a musical revolution, which they kind of were. The group gets even darker, driven by the black metal dogma to spread evil. They begin burning down churches throughout the countryside, stealing tombstones. I almost said tomatoes.
That would be pretty awesome.
Stealing tomatoes for their record store. Sorry, everyone.
I don't think we thought this one through. No, tomatoes very metal.
It's good Scandinavian voice. And stealing tombstones for their record store. But when the press catches up with them and Euronymous takes more credit than he's earned for the group's violent acts, Varg, fresh out of jail, arranges a dark encounter to settle the score and ultimately determine who the darkest black metal musician is. This is actually a really interesting story. Last Podcast on the Left does a really good show, maybe a two-parter about it. I'd say listen to that before you watch that movie just so you can see what they get right and wrong. So yeah, that was Horror Pack for August.
You know, my problem with metal, death metal, those like extreme forms of metal is I can never understand what they're saying. And I really like to enjoy the lyrics.
Oh yeah, that was kind of the whole point of those black metal bands back in the day. Like they just wanted no one to like them except for a very small group of people. So the music is, and a lot of bands still do this, it's all sort of built around catering to like the smallest group of weirdos possible.
Well, and I understand that. I appreciate that. They are talented. It's very clear they have like incredible vocal range because a normal person couldn't scream like that without like burning themselves out in less than 10 minutes. But yeah, I just like to know what the words are.
No, I get that.
At least with punk, you can understand everything.
Some punk, yeah.
It's easier than metal.
That's true.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a little nitpicky thing that has nothing to do with the show. You should watch this movie Heavy Trip that came out a couple years ago. You'd like it.
Oh no, what's it about?
It's about some Finnish guys who are really talented and have a death metal band, but they've never like done a real gig. And then one of their drummer friend in the band dies, so they carry his body across the country to try to make it to this metal concert.
Oh, that sounds kind of cool.
It's funny. Oh boy, a lot of packs in that hot movies pack. It's September 13th.
This day in horror history.
Roald Dahl was born. Robbie Kay and Ben Savage. That's Fred Savage's brother. He was in Little Monsters.
Who was he in Little Monsters?
He was the little brother in Little Monsters.
Oh, okay. It's been a long time since I've seen that.
It's a cute movie. We also saw the release of Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. That would be, I believe, the one where all the actors from the earlier sequels for like a big event held a fake funeral for him. And Mortal Kombat like was released, yeah.
Mortal Kombat!
What? I love that game.
I do too. I like the first movie too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I like it. I'm not going to say it's a good movie though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? It's better than quite a few movies. Quite a few.
True.
That was on this day in horror history.
So I'd like to say it was mostly my flaky schedule, my like heavy schedule that made it so difficult for me to get around to meeting up for a show. But I really do think it was just because I really didn't want to talk about these movies.
Yeah, no, I agree. This pure, complete, total trash. I am not excited for this.
No, neither am I. That being said...
But don't worry, everybody. It'll be short.
Yeah. Let's talk about Bloodsucking Pharaohs in Pittsburgh.
Did you hear that?
A serial killer
Mister, you got a quarter?
is on the loose.
Hey, if you don't have a quarter, that's okay too, man.
And these two cops are on the case.
Detectives, who happen to be the lousiest cops on the force?
Look behind you towards that corner. Don't be obvious.
But when the bad guys turn out to be bad girls, and the killer starts working overtime, can these cops save Pittsburgh before it's too late?
Shut up! It's only Sweeney's wife.
You'll get a blast out of this hilarious horror spoof.
This one's a blockbuster. 2 thumbs up.
Bloodsucking Pharaohs in Pittsburgh. Now on video cassette from Paramount.
I think the whole budget went into that poster art.
That was the best part of the movie, too.
That was what convinced me to watch this awful movie.
Well, this was one of those movies where everybody talked about it when I was a kid, because I live right outside of Pittsburgh. So everybody was always talking about Bloodsucking Pharaohs of Pittsburgh this, Bloodsucking Pharaohs of Pittsburgh that. as a kid who liked bad, weird movies, I'm like, man, I got to see that sometime. And it just totally fell off my radar until we looked up the Alan Smithee stuff and it was there. So I'm like, all right, cool. Like, finally, we'll see this childhood movie I never watched. My childhood is dead now.
Well, I guess I should get through the synopsis, huh?
Yeah.
In the seedy streets of Egypt town, 2 gumshoes and a feisty broad follow the bloody trail of dead prostitutes left by a deranged serial killer. Or maybe something even more sinister, like a serial killer in a Vegas Cleopatra getup, or something like that. This movie is in the Library of Congress.
Why?
It's an example of an early 90s spoof that didn't, Veronica Hart was, I don't know.
So it was just, it's probably there because it's so bad.
Sometimes they just gather random stuff. Maybe it ended up in like a big box of shit that they wanted.
Yeah, I'm sure it's more about cataloging stuff than it is about cataloging good stuff,
Unfortunately, since archiving is kind of my dream, but God knows with this whole thing going on, that's just certainly been put on hold. I have to admit, I would probably add this just for the sake of having it, but I would never advise anyone watch it. I'd Indiana Jones style, put it in a box in the warehouse,
Yeah. So were there actually blood-sucking pharaohs? It's been 2 weeks since I watched this movie, and I don't even remember, like nothing supernatural really happened, right? Except for the, cigarette-smoking wife's random electrical powers at the end.
Well, I mean, the concept I read in a review, which I didn't quite make the connection in the film, said that the ritual of the goo that melted people at the end of the movie, by the way, they get thrown into a vat of goo that melts them, guys.
Yeah.
Put their souls into eternal torture and destroyed their bodies. So I guess that was the thing.
But no pharaohs sucked any blood. It was basically just about a cult trying to resurrect somebody and failing at it.
Yeah. Or
it didn't even have the payoff.
Yeah. It was written by Tom Tully and Dean Shedder. Dean Shedder was also the original director before Alan Smithee did. The actress who played the wife was Beverly Penberthy. I thought she was probably the funniest thing about this movie besides the Johnny Cairo guy who kept calling the other guy fat and stupid.
Yeah, if I had to pick somebody funny, it was her.
Yeah. Most of the actors in this film didn't do a lot of noteworthy stuff. They did a lot of television things like Law and Order style and a bunch of forgotten kind of... Veronica Hart is probably the most notable thing, and I'm only going to read some of her films off because the titles are funny, because she's a porn star. Apparently she's quite a notable one from the 70s and 80s, but I don't really follow these careers. So let's see. Let me find a few good titles. Scotty's X-Rated Adventure, Beauty School, Feast, Death Mask. Is that a porn? That would be odd if that's a porn. Delivery Boys.
That's probably a porn.
Silk Satin Sex.
That's a porn.
Angel Buns.
Porn.
Tara.
Either a porn or a war movie.
Blue Magic.
Either a porn or a fantasy adventure.
A Girl's Best Friend.
Either a movie about a girl and a dog that is wholesome, or a movie about a girl and a dog that is not wholesome.
Wanda Whips Wall Street.
Definitely porn.
It could be an empowering, female businesswoman kind of film.
It could be.
Puss in Boots.
I'm not even joking with that one. I'm not even touching it because there's a kids movie named Puss in Boots. We're going to avoid that one.
Liquid Assets, but the S's are dollar signs.
Probably just a movie about tax fraud.
Wimps.
I don't even know what to say.
Slammer
Probably
Girls.
less than Revenge of the Nerds. What is that one?
Slammer Girls.
Porn.
Tattoo Vampire.
porn.
Okay, last one. This is my favorite title. Satisfaction Jackson.
Oh, I bet that's a porn spoof of the franchise movie that never was a franchise, Action Jackson.
The thing is, in her film history, I can't tell where the porn stopped and the legitimate film roles began.
Well, that's a sign of a good career, right?
Oh, wait, no, she goes back to sex movies. Hold on. Cafe Flesh 2. She did a lot of pajama party movies. Apparently there's an animated Playboy series, go figure. And Naked Fairy Tales. Dude, this lady's still doing movies. What the heck?
Good for her.
Yeah. Student Bodies 3. I wonder if that's any kind of sequel to Student Bodies.
I don't know.
Yeah, so that's the most interesting thing about Bloodsucking Pharaohs in Pittsburgh. It's pretty much a spoof on movies that people weren't even watching anymore. Film noir gangster movies where there's inevitably a mystery that leads people through Chinatown, but instead it's Egypt Town, because I guess that's supposed to be funnier.
I didn't make that connection because I have no interest in that.
Yeah, so it's like two cops, they investigate this series of murders of prostitutes. They end up in Egypt Town where they think a guy named Johnny Cairo is the real murderer. He's not. I think this was really just an excuse to make a bunch of jokes about, like, Egypt. I don't know. I don't know what the excuse for this movie was.
Yeah, I don't know, because it was really mostly just about, like, making fun of Egypt and making fun of women.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the best part was the wife, like, randomly of one of the detectives having a smoking habit, and, like, she speaks through one of those things in her neck, the little speaker thing. I don't know. So she gets, like, therapy to quit smoking, and Clockwork Orange style, they torture her and make her watch videos of planes blowing up buildings, which would not fly, like, 5 years after this movie came out, or,
No.
I'm sorry, 10 years. And then, because she gets electrocuted so much, she gets electricity powers, and the bad guys think she's Anubis.
Mm-hmm. And she sort of saves the day.
Yeah, that's all I have to say about this movie.
Yeah, that's all I got. It was bad, guys. I'm so sorry we had to tell you this existed. Speaking of bad, we also watched The Raging Angels.
Wait. I did find some stuff on TV tropes. Here's some tropes they used. Arson, murder, and jaywalking. A visual example. When Dee Dee is walking through the hotel corridor, she passes by a man in an executioner's hood, a man hugging a blow-up doll, and a Hasidic Jew.
Great.
Yeah, there's a bunch of tropes on that, but that was the most interesting one. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Now we can move on.
All right, so yeah, segue over. Raging Angels.
Your movie, like, the problem with your movie is that maybe the production values were better, but it was even more boring.
Mm-hmm.
And this one had no excuse. It had Michael Paré and Shelley Winters.
I hope this reminds me a little bit about what the movie was about.
Oh, those demons were terrible.
Good and evil.
Mm-hmm.
A war has begun.
Creatures of my vision, I stand against you.
For a hero running out of time.
Because you can't be.
He's a terrible hero.
Mm-hmm.
Like, some of these scenes would have been better without that weird lightning bomb.
It's a spiritual deliverance.
I agree,
Must
Lucy. Now
make a
shut up.
choice
You and me together?
Forever.
between the man she loves
Mankind really has hope.
and a man she cannot resist.
Sure you can, baby.
Take Lila with me.
She's one of us now.
In the final confrontation, no one will be safe.
You cannot alter the course of global events.
No one can be trusted. And only one side will be left standing. Raging Angels. Sean Patrick Flannery, Diane Ladd, Monet Mazur, Michael Paré, Shelley Winters, Ariel Dobazal. Featuring the music of Boston, Kingdom Come, Golden Earring, Stryper, and Mozart.
And Mozart. So I feel like this movie must have been like funded by some right-wing Christian organization.
Kind of like Rocktober Blood. At the end, you find out that the people who made it own like a dog charity.
Yeah, kind of. Like the whole movie is probably stuff QAnon believes at this point. Like, it's I think Michael Perry plays the Antichrist.
Or George Soros, if you're in QAnon.
Yeah. And he's doing his new world order thing through politics and rock and roll, I guess.
The politics part is very vague.
Yeah, that was the problem. Like, sometimes he's a politician, other times he's like a rock and roll guy. I don't know. It's all over the place. And Sean Patrick in fact, that's a note I have here. Is he a politician, a musician, a writer, a demon, a wizard? Fuck this movie.
He's Michael Pare, and that's all you need to know. Oh my God, Michael Pare, how could you?
So he's doing his new world order. Well, Michael Pare's made a lot of bad movies. So has Sean Patrick Flannery. In fact, the only good movie Sean Patrick Flannery maybe ever made to some people is Boondock Saints. I don't think that's a good movie, but some people do. So he plays this recovering alcoholic who was in this rock and roll band that got famous after they kicked him out. So he's got a big rock and roll chip on his shoulder, and he's dating this girl was she a singer? I don't even remember.
Yeah, she's a singer.
Yeah, she's a singer, and she goes to try out for Michael Perry's New World Order music
concert
review.
Thing.
Like, I don't know.
Can I just say Sean Patrick Flannery's character, right? He was mad that they kicked him out of the band because he was an alcoholic. I think they kicked him out of the band because he couldn't sing. His singing was terrible.
Oh, yeah.
And his songwriting didn't match the genre of the band either. It didn't make any sense. It's like, was he trying to be grunge? Because he was in a hair metal band. I didn't follow.
Yeah, I don't know. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, he didn't even have the right look.
I'm sure if we wanted to, we could make up some bullshit commentary about like his band was about grunge killing hair metal, but this movie's way too dumb for anything like that. It was just poorly cast, and he's got a bad voice.
Yeah, and I thought the same about that gospel church. I was like, is this like, because it's this one white chick and this one white guy, I was like, is this a reference to the black preacher who ran the cult? And then, like, his wife died, and then he married a young white woman and said his old wife's spirit had entered her. And I was like, wait, whoa. Yeah, no, this is not a reference to that. This movie is way too stupid.
Yeah. You're thinking of, not the Branch Davidians, the Hale Bob guys.
Yeah.
What are they called?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. So we should jump to the end real quick, because who cares? In the end, he leaves his rock and roll lifestyle for like bad new wave or like pop music. I also have Dido written here, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
Nothing made any sense. So anyway, he's living with his girlfriend at his grandma's house, or she lives alone, and I don't know. Anyway, she tries out for this review, and she gets accepted, and then Michael Perry, the Antichrist, digs her. So he drives a magical wedge in between Sean Patrick Flannery and her, I guess. Buys it for a while, and the typical like crazy ex-boyfriend stuff happens when he goes in to try to get her out of the evil place.
And occasionally Shelley Winters and other people are tormented by like what looks like an action figure that floats through a wall, and it's supposed to be a demon.
Yeah, which shows up at the end battle in like bad CGI, like versus an angel or something.
It looked like a screensaver from 1990.
Or like a tech demo from like the early 90s gaming world.
It was pretty much like the Dancing Baby and Ally McBeal.
Mm-hmm. Worse, but yeah. Did Michael Perry die at the end? I don't even remember.
Yes, he did. The demon came out of his body, I think. I don't know. I looked away, and then the demon was there, and it killed him because he was in love with the girlfriend, or he had like destroyed their plan or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. This movie's it's all over the place, and I assume like the director is the one that Alan Smithee does, and I don't know who the director actually was. There's very little about this out there. I assume he was hired on to direct this poorly written like mess of a script, and he did it, and he was so embarrassed by the end of it that he just gave up. And do with this.
And Shelley Winters, what was she doing in this?
I don't know. Getting a paycheck.
It was funny as my friends, I made them watch this with me. And I made Ryan, my boyfriend, and my roommate watch it with me because I wasn't turning it off. I was like, I got to get this done for the podcast. I've got to watch it because for some reason we decided to. And they were like, wow, that death she just had was really stupid. I was like, oh, Shelley Winters is the best at bad deaths. Have you seen Poseidon Adventure?
Apparently I did make a connection in this movie.
Yeah.
So here's what I have written here. I don't remember writing this. I don't remember why I wrote this, but this is basically the Dead Zone without psychics or fun. Still has Sean Patrick Flannery though.
It's funny, as I was thinking it was The Exorcist without anything good in it.
I think that I got the Dead Zone thing because Sean Patrick Flannery's character was like trying to assassinate Michael Pare or something like that to save the world. I don't know why I wrote it.
He was trying to save his girlfriend. I don't think he was trying to assassinate Michael Pare.
Well, then I don't know.
Yeah. One thing that made me sad, and I was going to mention this earlier, but I was saving it for this part of the podcast because there's not much substance to this film. One thing that made me really, really sad was that this was the first Michael Pare movie both my boyfriend and my roommate got to see. So I was like, guys, now you're just going to watch Streets of Fire with me, or Eddie and the Cruisers 1 or 2, or even like the one with the superhero from the 1980s where he played the bad kid in class. You know what I'm talking about, with the guy with the blonde curly hair. He's a teacher and he gets a freaking...
Oh, yeah.
Real American Hero, something like that.
Greatest American Hero.
Yeah. You're
now
going to
have a theme song stuck in my head forever.
I can't show any of that to you guys because you're just going to look at Michael Pare and think of this movie. And Ryan looked up at me from his phone.
I'm walking on air. I never thought I could feel so free.
That's part of that show.
Flying away on a wing.
Okay, I'll let you finish.
Who could it be? Believe it or not, it's just me.
That really is the best part of that show.
Sorry, I had to get it out.
Yeah,
I actually love The Greatest American Hero. I've seen every episode, and I've seen every episode of the spin-off that barely ran for a season and failed, where it's The Greatest American Hero, but with a girl.
But I'm a terrible girlfriend and roommate and best friend because this was their first experience with Michael Pare, and I told them, now you can't enjoy anything else he's done because you'll remember this movie. And then Ryan and Audra both looked up at from their phones, and they were like, don't worry, we won't remember this movie at all.
Yeah, I don't think that'll happen. Number one, if I didn't retain anything at all from this movie, neither will they. And two, well, no, that's not true. I just have a terrible memory. But two, nobody can hate Eddie and the Cruisers or Streets of Fire. Those are American treasures.
Yeah. And the trailer tricks you. It tricks you. The opening of that trailer is Michael Pare singing on stage as if that's going to be a major thing. And it's like, all right, another Eddie and the Cruisers, another Streets of Fire. Nope. Not at all.
Raging Angels. Don't watch either of these movies. Don't even think about them every morning. I feel bad that we've just gone on the cultural record as admitting these films existed. Oh. That's how terrible they are. And
I'm usually of the philosophy that Lucy, stop it. See, even Lucy's tired of this shit. I'm of the philosophy that you can pull something good out of every movie, even the bad ones.
Oh, me too. Some of my favorite movies are my favorite movies just because I like one specific thing that happens, but there's nothing in either of these.
Well, no. Johnny Cairo had some funny jokes.
Oh, okay.
So there was that. And if they had leveled their audio just a little, some of the songs, not dongs, some of the songs in this movie could have at least been something that you tapped your foot to, because it's not like the songs themselves were absolutely 100% terrible. Yeah, but the audio leveling was so bad, they weren't even featuring them properly. It was just you've got people who are legitimately talented singers and you're wasting them in this sequence. It's not even very dynamic, where they open the film with this one guy singing an okay song with a great voice and then the other guy driving his motorcycle.
Right.
It's like the camera stayed in one spot.
Oh, and what a stupid, he's a rock star. Let's make sure he's on a motorcycle as often as we can. We can't have him on a motorcycle. Let's put him in a classic car.
Yeah. They should have shown the song starting. I don't know. They should have done so many different things. This movie shouldn't have been made.
No.
It just shouldn't have been made.
Well, that's all I've got. You have anything else?
We apologize to you, the listeners. We have saved you, much like, I guess, the Nostalgia Critic would, even though, Corey doesn't watch the Nostalgia Critic anymore because of political reasons.
Ugh, I hate all those guys.
We watched these, so you didn't have to. So don't watch Bloodsucking Pharaohs in Pittsburgh or Raging Angels.
And I mean, if you think we're just saying that to get you to, like, feel pity and watch them, like, seriously, we're not. Like, we don't want you to feel the pain we just went through.
Like, seriously, we've watched bad Adam West movies. You remember last year, Rocktober? We watched that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We watched both of the Thor movies. So, I mean, we'll watch some bad stuff and pull something fun out of it, but there's just, don't watch these. There's nothing. Which just goes to show that the 90s may have had their edgy films, but they also had their very bland ones, and these are two of them.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why next week we're going to try to watch some new stuff that looks really good.
Yes. Thank God.
Yeah. I guess, which one would you like to feature, Corey?
I would like The Babysitter 2, unless you would like The Babysitter 2.
No, by all means.
Basically, I don't care.
Okay. And I will be discussing We Summon the Darkness.
Yeah. I'm pretty excited to watch both of these, but I'm definitely super excited to watch The Babysitter 2 because I absolutely love the first one. The only thing that makes me sad is I don't think Samara Weaving is in the sequel.
Yeah. We'll see. Yeah. But I tell you one thing. When Freaky comes out in November, I will be like the first person watching it. I will just be on that.
Yeah, for sure. We're all over that. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, if we're allowed to go see movies, or if I feel safe going to see movies, I'll go see that.
I saw Bill and Ted 3 in theaters, and I'm not even sorry.
Oh, did you really?
There were just 3 of us. Like, the theaters are empty right now where I live. No one's going, so we pretty much have, like, private auditoriums now.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, there are movies open here, too. I'm just not ready to risk it yet. But yeah, Samara Weaving was great in Bill and Ted.
Oh, she was fantastic. Everyone was fantastic in that. But guys, see Bill and Ted 3. It lived up to everything from the first 2 films, and I am shockingly willing to say it might be the best of the 3.
Yeah, I still like 2 better, but I think
that
if you're
for nostalgia,
if you're a huge fan of the originals, you'll love this one, especially if you're a huge fan of 2. I think.
Yeah, or music.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. There's so many cameos.
It's a love letter to music. It's a love letter to the history of rock, to the history of art. It's just fun.
And if you're afraid that Bill and Ted are still doing the same shtick that they were in the first 2 movies, they are, but they have grown up a little bit. Mm-hmm. They did kind of take that into account. So they're not just like 50-year-old dudes being obnoxious teenagers.
You did a 40-minute bass solo. That was a great scene. I love that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you would like to check out our blog, where once in a while, usually in October, I'll actually post blog entries as companion pieces to the podcast. You can find us at hallow-holic.blogspot.com or hallow-holic.wordpress.com.
And someday I will venture back into the Twitterverse to talk to people. I still check it, but Twitter is such a cesspool of like everything that is wrong in the world right now. I haven't been posting, I never posted frequently, which I should have, but I'm posting less now just because it's so horrible there. But if you add us at Nowhere23 or find us on Twitter by searching for Hallow-Holics, like I will respond to you. So yeah, you can contact us there. I just haven't been tweeting much there.
You can also email us at Hallow-Holics@outlook.com. And honestly, we don't get a lot of emails, guys. So even if you just want to send us a sound clip or something, ideas for an episode, you've got our attention.
Yeah.
Wait, did you say dick pics?
No, that would be weird.
Corey is going to be managing the email for the next few weeks. Keep that in mind.
All right, guys, this is serious today. The man says, if you don't find us on podpedia.org and search for our portal, HHA, he will make me watch Bloodsucking Pharaohs in Pittsburgh and Raging Angels over and over again until I claw my entire face off and feed it to myself, which these movies could make me do.
That's even worse than when Hannibal style, he made you watch a bunch of obscure, like, pictures and then, like, made you stare at his tattoo on his back and then, like, pushed you out the window with your entrails, like, forcing you to dangle from them as he demanded you tell people about Podpedia, which was weird because you couldn't talk with your entrails hanging out.
Long for threats like that after this one. Like, that is heaven to the hell he has just brought. So please, search for us there.
Have a good night, guys. Don't watch these movies.
Thanks for listening. Sorry.
We are so sorry.